Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, April 29th. Only 2 more trading days of the month, and things I think are looking pretty decent for a monthly candle close. So we'll see how things go.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Morning, Matt and the Peanut Gallery. Hey, Matt, do you know why they call it the Peanut Gallery?
Because
It's
they
from
ate a
this
lot of
old
peanuts.
No, it's from this old TV show called it was the Howdy Doody Show, and on Howdy Doody, everyone in the audience, they called it the Peanut Gallery. That's where that comes from. Little broadcasting history for you.
Fair enough.
Yes, Tim's is on fire. They got some crazy catalyst that made it jump up to the 50% retrace. We'll talk about that this morning. But yeah, Matt, where do you want to start us off with?
Yeah, so I'll start off with the usual suspects, the SPY, and here we are. We had a fantastic back test of support with going back through the baseline and that 1.414 fib, 548.25. So this was expected to hold, and it did. So I'm expecting it to hold throughout the week too, and throughout the rest of April, which I believe is tomorrow, and has potential to even carry on to some of this resistance above here now in the 550s or 560s above. So it looks like a nice little trend reversal. Something that was resistance for a month straight is now looking like it's flipping back to a support. So good developments for SPY. QQQ, same situation, went back down, almost even got to the 1.272 fib 465. Not quite, but nice recovery yesterday, going back even above the baseline, which is 471.60. So good developments here, but we do have the top of the cloud. It kind of went the full range of support resistance just yesterday because the top of the cloud is around like the 475, 476. So not sure if it is going to be able to break above the cloud this week. So pay attention to that, but nice developments as well. Stabilizing on top of this 471, and IWM is still above that conversion line. Again, another back test of that support, and it's kind of confirmation that this conversion line is now flipping to a support. And the last time we saw that was ultimately right here before it really broke down back in December. So it's been just a downtrend, a lot of pressure underneath the conversion line for a long time. We did see it try to break out above temporarily back in February, but that was just a fake out. But now we are getting some kind of support here where it seems like it could be a trend reversal, and 193.85 is that goal to hold. So good developments for all the indices, really. And I think we can start the month off May relatively nice as long as these support levels continue to hold throughout the week. And as far as Bitcoin is concerned here, I do want to show the weekly chart, not the daily chart. So the weekly chart here, it did come back down a little bit to not even close to the 91,158. So a lot of people are speculating if it does need to come back down and retest these zones down here, or even come back down to like the 88, 87 or so to retest this whole area. And I think that's still up for a debate. But right now, I'm mainly focused around like this 93,000 zone, simply because every time it really goes down there recently, it recovers, right? And the low of this candle right here, this weekly candle, is around like 92,800. So I think if this low can continue to hold, then perhaps it can continue gravitating higher and not need to retest that anytime soon. So this is an obvious reversal in trend for Bitcoin, right? Something that was major resistance for a while is now support. So regardless if it does need to go back down to the 91, I think it's still a bullish trend now, and it wants to gravitate higher over time.
Yeah, I was mentioning to you, I think Freedom by 40 is one of the people that we in our little group, and he says he thinks it might go to 100,000 and then do a liquidity grab back to like something crazy like 84,000. I think that's really interesting. I, I think I would like to see it just keep approaching 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, almost get there. Maybe just put a wick over it and then drop back down. Maybe to your 161, or is that a 141 at 91,000? That would be kinda cool.
The 1.414, yeah.
Yeah, 1.414. Oh, yeah. Now I can see it, obviously. But, yeah, Bitcoin's looking really strong from here.
Yeah. What about you? You want to show a Bitcoin chart?
Let me start by going to the, let me tell you a story about the SPY. So go ahead and pull me up here. Here's my SPY chart. And I just want to explain myself so from the pandemic drop right here, and then that V-shaped recovery we got as they turned on all the money printers onto full blast. And then we got this wave 2 pullback in 2023. Actually, that's 2022 still. But it did, here's your 1, 2, and it did 382, 236, and I was expecting 1, 2, 3, 6. And what happened was it just about double topped at the 100%, and that's when everything went to pot. We got the big sell-off, here in December was a high, it dropped down in January, it looked like it was gonna break out, and then we got that whole fiasco where it just dumped. Um, so yeah, this chart's broken, but the story I wanna tell you, besides the fact that, I'm sorry, I was expecting this and we got that, is that because we got this huge move down, now we're getting a huge reaction where we are now is back up here. It's like this is like the 50% level almost, just eyeballing it. And so, yeah, then we're getting big reactions to big reaction. We're getting smaller reactions to bigger reactions. But as you can see, the uptrend with the Ichimoku on the weekly SPY is it does want to get back up. I think we are going to see at least this 123.6. I have to redraw what I think is going to go on from here. Honestly, a this could become a new 1-2 right here, and so maybe these targets are gonna get even bigger on the right, but so just we're at this point, Wolves and the Bears are really they're constantly the Bulls get a run, then the Bears sell it off, Bulls get a run, Bears sell it off, but the bottom's in, and so even though we might get ups and downs over the days, coming here, the trend is definitely to the upside now, and I think it won't be long before we get a retest of that all-time high of 613.23. So just be aware of that. Um, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. So we're very optimistic. We're very bullish from here, but there's a lot of volatility this year because when you drop a big stone into the pond, it makes big ripples, and we're still getting. It's taking time for those big ripples to calm down, which is why the VIX is still doing stuff like this. Pointed out the monthly VIX looks really good, whereas see it kind of went up into the cloud here and then wicked down, and now the body is still below the cloud. So it looks like the VIX really does kind of want to do this this is 2026. This is like August 2026, and then I noticed that there was a where is it on this one now? There's a little bit of green right about here on the monthly chart for the VIX in 2027. Anyway, so it looks like uh, the question was about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I did this little chart and put it out here for people to look at, sort of a probability cloud, right, where the hurricane's going to hit. It really looks it's just going, nice and even here. I can't get on here, but it looks like the Bollinger Band is kind of squeezing for a big move up here. And the closer it gets to the top of this 4-hour cloud, the more it looks like it just wants to go straight. Um, Here's the weekly cloud. Oops. Yeah, look, Bitcoin is moving. It's not even touching this cloud. It's moving up past this cloud. So yeah, I think we're going to see 100,000 sooner than later. I don't know if I kind of like Freedom by 40's idea. If we get a crazy liquidity grab, I don't think it's going to happen till after we get to 100,000. At least that's what I'm looking for. The VIX in the short term for today looks like it is continuing to trend down on the 4-hour and the 8-hour. It's on the bullish side of my moving average 75, and it doesn't look like it really wants to jump back up and test it or anything. Kind of looks like it's just gravitating, just kind of down, really. All right, so optimistic. I guess I should show my Tesla and let you do your Tesla, Matt. For Tesla, where is oh, it's not this chart, it is my bad. This one. Sorry, I've got several different looks for different tickers here. So I still have these same levels that I posted publicly yesterday. I was looking at some different pullback levels, and we did kind of get uh, candle bodies around this, just below this 278.98. And I put 277 was I think that was the daily center pivot right there. Put the pivot points back on because that's what we want to see. The weekly and monthly pivots. The monthly pivot is this one here at 258.51. So look out for that if it really does a hard pull down. Like if it's, I was saying yesterday, there's a chance that what we got yesterday was an A and then a B. Well, A down the day before B today. So I'm looking for potential C down here. You can see there's a big buy order block on the 1 hour here between 267 and 261. I don't know. I think weekly pivot 264.91, monthly pivot. These are the center pivots 258.51. It would be just fine for these to gravitate back, at least maybe touch this weekly pivot after it broke out over it and hasn't tested back to it yet, and it's still the beginning of the week. It says Tuesday. So yeah, look for this possibility. 264.91 today for Tesla. And then overall, I'm just looking for it to go higher. I've got this that also posted publicly. I'm looking for 319.03 next for a pullback, and then a 382.236. So 319 to 279 again, and then the 618 is up here at 383.76. That's the medium term projection, and I still think Tesla could reach 700 by the end of the year for sure. 383.76. All right, and how about you, Matt? What do you think about Tesla?
Yeah, so for me, Tesla, I'll go to my chart, and what it did yesterday was exactly what I wanted to see. And the reason why is, I think I talked about it, is that fib down below, right? The 702, the 272.79, it went down exactly to retest it as a support. And I love that as kind of like a confirmation, especially when it bounced after it did it, right? Because that 272 was basically a previous resistance zone in the past, and now it just back tested it back to support. And we can even see since it broke down in March or in February, right? It did not close a weekly candle above it since then until last week, and now going back to confirm that is just beautiful. So I am looking for that to hold, and I don't think there is really a necessity to go back down there currently. And when I go to the Ichimoku cloud too, we can see that it is still riding the cloud out like a ladder, right? Just climbing out of there, just like I anticipated all the way back down here as well. And now we can see that price is looking like it wants to go gravitate to the 786, the very challenging level. So this is going to be important to break 306.93, and I'll be watching that the most. And also, if you want guys to look at the linear scale fibs, we can see it yesterday. It actually hit some important linear scale fib as well. It hit the 6618, the 295 zone. And so this has to get overcome before it has any chance of going to that 306 zone. So right now, I would say it's range bound between like the 270s and the 295. And once it breaks above 295, then I think it's going to go to this log based 306.93. So the uptrend is still intact for Tesla. The beautiful back test yesterday was necessary, in my opinion, to confirm it as support. So now I think we continue to go higher.
All right. I've gone ahead and I've pulled up the HIMS chart here to show you guys how it went back to a 50% retrace from this move here, from the 1347 low in September of 2024 to its peak at the end of 2024 at 73.18. I'm sorry, wait, that peak was in February on Valentine's Day. And then it dropped down to here, 22.54. And what it did in pre-market here, from this bottom to this high, this scale right here from 0 to 100% went right to just shy of the 50% retrace back up. And you can see I already had projected, based on my Elliott wave fib projections on the right. I was looking for a 382,236, and look what it did. It went almost right to the 382's up here. It's just a little shy of it now. I don't know if it wants to maybe I don't know if it'll touch it and then come back down. That's a big move. It already kinda did that and then did this. I think maybe, I think maybe the 1-2 is done. That could be the 1-2 right there. And so now it's just gonna be heading for the 2-2-3 I mean, the 1-2-3-6, $96 next. So your, uh, reward would be 155% higher, uh, over the rest of this year. Um, your risk downwards, the 36 let me get really close and let's see what's done here in pre-market. Oh, look, it pulled back to 36.58, right? See this wick right here? That wick right there. And here's my 36.58, so just a few cents under. If you want to enter into PIMS now in pre-market, you could put your stop below 36.58 and then look for the 123.6 fib next. As I said on this 8-hour chart, up here at 96.09. So that was just really fast. They got a catalyst, and what did it do? It just sped up the timeline. My projections here. All right, Matt. How about you?
Yeah, I can take a look at hymns real quick. And I was just watching support hold the whole time on my chart. And the support was that previous high, right? This 25-40 zone. Every time it came back down there, it held perfectly as support. So I was like, yeah, it's got to start breaking some resistance for me to get interested in it. And what do you know? Bam, it just started to happen to break some resistance. So therefore, I am now not so concerned about it. I was a little bit concerned down here just because the market was rallying and kind of like Hems wasn't doing anything. But I was waiting for some kind of like move upward to break all that to eliminate any kind of concerns, and that's exactly what happened. So now we're going to see the 1.618 up here. That's kind of being a resistance this morning, 39.42. We did get above it a little bit in the 40s, and then it immediately sold off from there. So that's going to be the next level to watch. But that could mean that maybe this 34.79 might want to be a support. So we'll watch this 1.414 fib as a weekly candle close at a minimum, trying to stay above because a bullish engulfing candle cutting through multiple levels up here would be nice to see. One thing we can do is also check out the weekly Ichimoku cloud, and we can see that it's actually starting to try to get above this conversion line again for the first time, and that's actually a very nice situation there. So I would love to see this $34 zone hold for the week, because flipping multiple levels to a support would be a bullish sign for a continuation higher. So that's what I'm really focused on the most, staying above $35. And
Yeah, if it
I
did
do
something like
have
went
a
up to if it went to 34.79 and then pulled back to 31.87, that would give me a nice minor degree 1-2 I could do a projection for the rest of the wave for. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see if it can just finish the week up strong above all these levels, and would be really, really nice situation. I mean, the best case would be above this 1.618, because then it could even go back up to the baseline up here at 46. So it does have good potential. But I do have a request for DXYZ that I have on deck here, and also, we can see that this got back above the conversion line last week, and it went back down yesterday to retest it. So 35.99 was hit perfectly. So we're seeing a lot of this develop in a lot of charts, right? What was once resistance of the conversion line is now being support. So this kind of trend reversal is really, really nice to see on so many charts. And now we can probably start to see this establish a kind of a base here, 34 or 35.99, but the resistance is still going to be your 618 here, the 4108. It's not looking like it's ready to break out just yet, but it's just baby steps in the right direction, because stabilizing on top of a previous resistance, now support, is a big deal.
Yeah, after that cataclysmic, drop in the market, the correction we had earlier this year, it really does look like finally things are getting back above turning resistance into supports. and we are, it's going to be an unmistakable recovery pretty soon. And once everyone catches on, that's when you get the big third wave move up here. My destiny chart here, it double bottomed here at 25.19. Basically, I'm looking at the 382,236 would take us to 51.30 next, which from where price is right now would give you about a 35% improvement. And then I'm looking for it. If it only goes up that high, then it would test back to 41.32. Let me show you my 8-hour chart because I noticed something here. There's really not a big sell order block until a 50% level. So maybe this might extend instead of the 382, maybe it'll go to the 50% level. After that, it could still drop as low as the 23.6 fib at 41.32. So, I would look into reducing your position if it gets higher than the 382 into this percent zone. If it just keeps going though, past the 50%, 61.8% is next at 67.43. But either way, even with a pullback to this 23.6 fib, you can still buy DXYZ now and it'll run up and it'll never come back lower than where you bought it. So this is probably a great time to add more DXYZ or buy it if you haven't gotten it. 163%, no wait, where price is right now to my wave 3 projection is 182% higher. And the wave 5 top, if that is where it stops in wave 3, it's 371% higher from now until the wave 5 top. But of course, sometimes these extend higher to wiki as they melt up.
All right.
I'll go and do
LAS.
LAS. Yeah, same thing. Look, it looks like price is just, I'm sorry, let me turn off these pivot points. They're really useful when you're looking at short-term stuff, but look, it looks like it's kind of going like it wants to, the Bollinger Band's getting kind of squeezy right here on the 8-hour chart. I think this is just about ready to take off as well. From where price is right now, just the 38.2% fib is $5.90 or 123% higher from where price is now. And even if it pulls back to the 236, you're still way under where it would pull back to. So this is a really good place to get into LAS or buy more of it, or dollar cost average if you had it like I did from way up here. In fact, I've got to remind myself to buy more LAS today. There you go. And then 590 to 434, wave 3. Right now, I'm projecting 1505, back to $10, and then $25.76 for the 23 point. I'm sorry. And then it's sort of similar if it was an ABC bounce. Look, we already got the AB, and then the C bounce. This is from a retrace from its previous all-time high up here. Oh, actually, no, that's not even right. I must have done this from a weekly chart. You actually belong right there. Oh, no, wait, maybe I did it from this price right there. No, what was I doing? Anyway, yeah, the projection, the 5-way extension projection is still the same in yellow here. All right, Matt, what you got?
I got MSTR. Somebody asked about your MSTR too. On the move, if BTC went down to 89K, what that would look like for MSTR. But I have mine first here just to take a look at what's really happening. And one thing that I'm really paying attention to the most is this 1.414 fib right here, the 340, right? It screamed past it. It did not even go back for a back test, but it was a previous resistance, now a support. So I think MSTR is really likely to continue its journey higher. We did get back down to the 350s just yesterday, and it held. So I'll be looking at that kind of low to see if that can hold. If that low holds, then perhaps no need to come back down to the 340. But of course, it's always a possibility. And I think, yeah, if Bitcoin did get back down to the 80s, that would probably be back tested down there. But right now, it's looking pretty bullish, and it's getting closer and closer to the resistance of the baseline now, 381. So that would be some caution if it did get closer to that, because I don't think it's going to break out just right yet. So great developments for MSTR. Could it backtest lower levels in the 340s? Certainly could, because the cloud is also down there as well. But regardless, I think it's going to continue to go higher with higher highs and higher lows.
All right, I got my MicroStrategy 2 here. I got 2 paths to show you. And just putting this in here. Oh, it's basically the same number, isn't it? All right, so I charted this little 1, 2 right here. Basically this 1, 2 right there. And then that would set this up for 123.6 fib and then a pullback to the 76.4. So either we get a pullback soon from 376.60 back to 320.62, or it doesn't do this and it just keeps going. And over here on the right is my larger degree chart, where basically the 382 is where all these sell order blocks are kind of clustered around. So it'd be 429.30. Let me just pull this down like this. 429.30 could just keep going. Let's just do it like this. 429.30, and then it pulls back to the 236 at 351.22, and then goes on to the 123.6 at 886.04 next. So my larger degree chart says it could just keep going, but there is a chance that we get one more little pullback on the way up there. And if it does, then we actually get a higher wave one. This would mean I had this like this, where I was thinking maybe it extended to the 50% level. The weekly like that? Yeah, the weekly buy orders are banded right around this 50% extension level, which is why I've got this chart drawn like this. So yeah, 2 paths. Look for 376.60 being resistance, but if it gets past that and keeps going, then maybe we do.
All right. I got a SoFi ready here. So
Yeah.
let's see, somebody was saying about SoFi, breakout or fake out. Well, it's not a fake out. So this kind of confirmed that it wants to be more support below. Right, this last week's bullish engulfing candle did break through the 45-degree angle and the conversion line. So we are approaching resistance right now. So this is a possibility. But pre-market, it is above it. But again, these are weekly candles. So I want to see if it can actually finish the week above this 1369. So I think that is the only focus that I'm watching for SoFi, right? I want to see this 1369 hold and not just be a resistance, because if it just turns into a wick and maybe closes below again on Friday, then it's just a wick, and then it's just going to be range bound in between maybe like the $12 range and the 1369 range. So definitely not a fake out, but we do need to see confirmation that it really wants to close the week, because all of this is really, really a bullish setup for a continuation. And especially if it closed the week above this 618 fib, that would be really nice for a continuation higher. So SoFi, let's just wait and see for some confirmation. But last week's candle proved that it was not a fake out, because it broke resistance levels and it wanted to have some follow through. So this is a very, very nice development, regardless if it closes above this 1369 this week or not. I think even so, even if it didn't, in the weeks to come, it would start to break out. So let's just watch that level, 1369, throughout the whole week, close back above it, and then boom, it can go higher and higher to the 15s and 16s again.
Yeah, and just really quickly, I'll show my SoFi chart, then I'll try this. I'll look at PanW. SoFi, my wave one, wave two, and then the subwave for 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm looking at this 382 to 236. So either we're at resistance now and it pulls back to 1166, or I see there's this sell order block is up here starting at the 61.8. So maybe this goes 618 and then either 236 or 382. So watch 1374. If it goes really if it goes as high as 1450, it's probably going to go for 1709. Otherwise, it's probably going to hit this resistance, and 1166 should be your support now. And then PanW, Palo Alto Networks. That's right. This is interesting. Let's see. So the way I had this charted, yeah, this one even with all the stuff that happened earlier this year, it didn't damage the chart that much. It really just is still oscillating from my wave 4 bottom down here at 1374-ish. It's still heading for oh, this is I'm projecting 300% because that's how high it went last time, into the wave 1 on the smaller fractal scale. So, yeah, between 1374 and going to 263.36, it looks like it's already done quite a bit of wave action. Let me just see. I think here's your 1, 2, except it fell over. Oh gosh. Let me just try to do. Well, I'm still going to call for 263.36. But I'm just kind of following this weekly Ichimoku cloud out. So maybe by June of 2026, unless it melts up into the end of the year. Really hard to, because of that right there. It's kind of doing. It's in a diagonal. The wave 1s and the 2s and the 4s are crossing into the 1s. All right, it's in a good place now. I'd say lots of support underneath it.
All right. I
Wow,
have
Netflix is up.
what do
Actually, on this upper Bollinger Band too.
Yeah, you can go ahead
Go
and do
ahead. No, you
Netflix
do
first.
think. Well, I've got to draw
Yeah,
something here.
I actually wanted to do Spotify. I saw somebody was talking about that, and there was something else called Oust. I can take a look at those, but Spotify, we can see that it hit the 1.272 fib extension, 618.79 multiple times, right? We even hit it back here in February and got rejected, and then hit it again multiple times, and more recently, it's this week. It's trying to get above it, but it just can't. And also, there is the arc above that too that has been resistant. So it's been in a very very big resistance zone for Spotify. So I would just be a little bit cautious here. Not sure if it's really going to be able to break this zone just yet, because it's a big zone, right? It's the 1.272. It's the arc. It's the green level up here at 658. So a lot of stuff up in this zone, and I don't know if it's really ready to break out. So we're going to watch this 618. We're going to watch this 658 up here. If it can't break any of this zone at all and flip it to a support, then it might drift lower back down. And in fact, we are seeing some pre-market going back down to this conversion line right now. So that conversion line is 551, and we can see that even the baseline is right down there at 514. And we can see that even all of this down here, the cloud and the angle and the 1 level is at 387. So we got to take that into consideration, since it's been a massive resistance for months, right? Massive resistance for months kind of implies that there could be weakness for a while. So I think there's no rush on this one. Let it play out. It might just want to gravitate to the weekly cloud over here just to see over time. So this could be a ways away before it wants to break any of this kind of resistance. So we'll watch the 550, we'll watch the 514 next. And if these can stabilize on top of it, then it has a chance to reverse. But right now, it looks like it just wants to go sideways or lower until it finds some kind of support. And I do have that oust as well. Yeah, oust here. One thing I did want to point out is it did lose a lot of this support up here, all the cloud support, right? So one thing I wanted to put on is just the Fibonacci, just so we can see from the all-time high down to the low, and pay attention to this 236, right? It cannot even get back above it for the past month. So 827 is kind of your big resistance zone right there. And if it stays below that, then it might just keep going sideways, or maybe retest a little bit lower back in the $6 zone again, or a little bit lower. But that's going to be the main focus for oust. 827, get above that, then it can go higher. But if it keeps staying under 827 week after week after week, then it's going to continue being resistance, and it's going to be stuck. Stuck. All right, tracker. I think you're on mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I was on mute. Um, I got Netflix up here for you, and Netflix looks really exciting because it basically after from the pandemic low, no, from the all-time ever low of 223 to the 2022 high, and then back to the 2021 low. It's doing. I don't have it drawn here, but this 50% fib to the 2236. Then it went past the 1236, back to the just below the 100. So I think it's going to go. It's already on its way to the 2236 or the 2382. Um, Obviously, it can oscillate on the way up there. This is a pretty crazy wick up here. It could pull back a bit, but I think in general, Netflix is already in its fifth wave. And gosh, how much is that? From our prices right now, so the 55% higher or 65% higher almost if it goes to the 238. And of course, with the melt up, it's possible for it to even be like the 2618. But just a bare minimum, I think we'll get one of these two numbers, 1719 or 1820 for Netflix. With like I said, there's still a chance of a pullback a little bit here because of this crazy wick. But not that it has to, but it could. And then I was trying to do beyond. It's not Beyond Meat, right? This is like a different Beyond. This thing started way back
Yeah, I'm
in
not sure.
20.
But yeah, it's up pre-market
It's
pretty
not
nicely.
Beyond Meat. It's a different Beyond. Oh, really? Let's take a look here because I was just drawing a retrace. Let's see how it does versus the retrace. Reverse. So from this, the last low, it just 4, retracing back to 128.50 right there. Let's look at the flower chart. Yeah, look, it went to come on, show me. Went to 520, right? And that doesn't even begin to register on how far. Wait a second. Where'd you go? Oh, the numbers are down here. Sorry, just give me a second to extend this right and make sure it's visible on all time scales. Right, just to not even there yet. It's like it didn't even quite. It's got if it does a real recovery, it's got a lot longer to go. I guess what I should do is I should just look at a more recent recovery from this 355 low about that. So what? It's done the 236. So 607 would be next. So it basically just is trying to get over the 236. It should go to the 382 at 607, back to 512 as support, and then 761. Looks like there's a sell order block up here, the 70.2% fib. So maybe it'll even get a little higher. This could be a little lower. Yeah, look for 607 or a bit higher for the next price target. Then 512 or maybe just a little lower should hold, maybe 480s, and then 816 next for the wave C top. That's what I would look for beyond.
All right, I think I gotta go. I gotta run. But I do want to finish off with one chart here with coin, because I like I like the price action what it did yesterday. It went down to the 702 as well, the 197.27. It went down, just barely missed it, but still inside the cloud. I really think it has potential to recover nicely throughout the rest of the week and in the weeks to come too. So nice developments for this chart specifically. Breakout back above the important fib, retesting it for price to go higher. But we're seeing this a lot with a lot of things. Where something that was a lot of resistance before is now flipping to support. So that's the general theme of the markets, in my opinion. And sorry, we can't get to all the chart requests out there. They're getting more and more busy now that the market is recovering. This is a big shift. Whenever we see a lot of chart requests, we know that the market's doing better. When there's no chart request, then we know the market's doing terrible because nobody likes to buy the panic. But I think sometimes we got to be conditioned to buy the panic, because that's when the benefits can really pay off.
Yep. Well, my final thoughts are: it looks like Bitcoin could really roar over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going heavier and heavier into Bitcoin related stuff. I will publish a public chart for EUSD because I've got a request to update my chart, my public chart for that as well. So you can look for that on my X profile. Well, thanks,
Very
Matt.
good.
I wish
Well,
Kat
thank
were
you.
back. I wish we could be talking about the Triumvirate show, but it looks like it's gonna have to wait a little longer still. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe we'll be able
maybe
to
a
do it
week or
next
two.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll be back again tomorrow morning.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye bye.